Hi everybody, lesson 5, and we're going to be doing the downward dog again today. We started yesterday, so it's very exciting to think that we're already on to lesson 4 and done our first downward dog, and today we'll do a few more things as well. So going gradually and slowly, but at the same time not mucking around as well. So let's start by everybody lying down into their normal position, and I'll quickly go through that again for any new people that might be interested. So lying straight back down here, popping your hands in prayer position towards the universe, towards our spaciousness and to the divine. Nice breath in, and on the out breath just gently letting our hands fall into place beside our bodies, spreading our feet about hip width apart, lifting our chin and our head to be nice and flat on the floor, and just completely relax while I do a small meditation to prepare the body and the breath ready for yoga poses. So while you're lying here and you've got your eyes closed, I want you to focus on directing your eyesight towards your heart, towards your chest area, the centre of your chest. Big breath in, big breath out. Noticing the warm air coming past and through your nostrils, and on the out breath making a little sound. Just letting go of that frustration, any worries and woes, let it out on the out breath, so that you can start to concentrate on being in the moment, being in the now, and honouring yourself for this next half an hour. So big breath in, open your belly, really swell your belly up with air, and on the out breath, as if it's coming out of a balloon. Another big breath in, stretching the sides of your tummy, your midriff now, and breathing. You can make a funny sound, you can make loud noises, doesn't matter. You're getting out frustration, you're getting out old style energy. Breath in, filling up the sides of that belly, sides of the midriff, even into the chest a little bit now, holding and breathing out, and taking in more and more air and letting go, letting go, letting go on the out breath. Next breath in, imagine the air's coming up through your tummy, through your midriff, through your chest, even into your head, and letting out any energy that's not serving you through the crown chakra, up to the cosmos, all the way through our space, past the moon, into that black hole in the middle of the Milky Way, and it's gone. It disappears out to the corners of space, and space deals with it. It loves old style energy. It creates new healing energy with your old energy, so let it go. Don't hold on to anything on the out breath, and imagining it coming up and out of your body and releasing into space. And now imagining that spaciousness, all that energy that you've sent up there, it's bursting like fireworks at New Year's Eve, as if there's blues and purples and reds and oranges, beautiful colours bursting into space. And that's your old energy disintegrating and being turned into beautiful healing white light, raining back down on all the galaxies, all the planets, all the stars, and back into Earth and on Earth. Breathing in again, taking in one big breath and letting out more and more, and watch it go up through that hole in the Milky Way. Keep watching it, keep an eye on it, and then watching it explode on the out breath. Beautiful fireworks, gorgeous colours and patterns, just like New Year's Eve in your mind's eye. And now that wonderful clean energy that you've produced in space, imagine it rolling and falling back down to Earth, back through our space, our clouds, our sky, back in through the ceiling, in through the roof and down through your crown, and filling you up like a beautiful waterfall all the way through your body, even coming out of the bottoms of your feet and reaching like channels of energy down towards Mother Earth's core. And Mother Earth has a beautiful energy as well. And that big orange ball that's like an ember inside the middle of her, slowly turning, causing us to have day and night, being a magnet, keeping us attracted to the Earth's surface. And feeling her energy coming back up through those channels, back up past the rocks, the underground water streams, the sand and the soil, and in through the bottom of our feet, and feeling the warmth coming up through your legs, into your torso, chest and lungs, down your arms, into your fingertips, back up and through your throat, and back of your neck and your face and your head. And feeling that freedom of that energy just coming into every cell. That harmony and that joy and that peace that it brings. Floating like you're floating in water. And you're floating in this beautiful healing energy right now. Energy coming up from the earth and coming down from the cosmos. And imagine it meeting at your heart centre and splaying out to the sides, all the way into the room. Behind you, in front of you, above and below you, your capsule of healing energy right around you is being filled with sunlight, golden, white light, healing every area of your etheric layers. We have no skin, pretending we've got no skin because our energy field does go out that far. So our energy comes from right in the very centre of our body, all the way through those layers, arm's length to the sides, arm's length in front and behind us, above and below us. So imagine that energy cleaning, cleansing, clearing. And while I play the heart chakra bowl, that sound that it produces is even resonating even more so with your heart now and that energy of yours. And your base, so you'll be able to stand on your feet today strongly in your poses, the base root chakra sound. Still making a sound from here, but the heart bowl today was very bright and very luminous in its sound, if there's such a thing, but I could not get over that because that was really obviously talking about the heart chakra. That was switching that right on. So that's really lovely. I was just going to push those away, and as you wiggle your fingers and your toes, bringing yourself a little bit of blood flow back into your body, rotating those ankles, moving your head from side to side, and coming back into this room. And when you're ready, lying on your side, just gently lying on your side, no rush. And when you're ready, you're to push off from your side using your arms, because we're going to switch them on in a moment. So to start with, we're going to push ourselves up and let's come into a cross-legged position. And now if you've got 1 or 2 cushions, that's fine. If you've been sitting on 2, just try what one's like today. Just see if we can literally start to open those groins like we've been doing. We've been working on stretching those a little bit. So we're just going to be sitting here today. If your knees are up like that, it doesn't matter. Just let that gravity, couldn't think of the word, gravity, bring those knees down. Start to straighten through that spine like we need to switch that on. I've got a mirror here, so I'm just watching what my back's doing. So literally you can sort of come onto the edge of the pillow, so you're sort of leaning a little bit forward, lifting even some of the flesh up from your bum bones, your ischium. Sitting up really nice and tall like you were a little school kid years ago in kindergarten. And stacking those vertebrae, one on top of the other, all the way up, rolling those shoulders back and down. A couple of times, let's roll them up and back, down, up and back, down, and now forward, forward and rolling down, forward, and one more time, but one more time backwards. Now try and bring those shoulder blades, imagine as if they're trying to touch together. So if you do that, you're going to bring them back and you're going to put your chest out. So in doing that, double check again and feel what you're looking like. If you've got a small mirror in your room or anything, maybe do your class in front of a mirror. So sitting up nice and tall. Now we don't want this, we don't want that. We want your chin tucked in a little bit, and we want you to imagine you've got a string from the top of your head pulling you up towards the cosmos. Now my legs are really switched on, they're wanting to sort of come in and hold me. So I'm just going to stay here for a little while. I'm just going to press down just gently on my legs, just so that they push back against my palms, so that they're just getting a little bit of work. And that's what I mean with yoga. A lot of the poses, it's all about just focusing your attention on one area, and you get a whole exercise from it, a whole lot of benefit from just focusing on pushing down. And then I'm going to try and pull my knees up against there now and get that contraction. And then letting go on the out breath and relaxing down and surrendering on that out breath. A little bit further, those legs are going down. Big breath in and pull those knees up against your palms just a tad. And then on the out breath, next out breath, letting go and surrendering, and see whether your legs come down a little tiny bit more. Doesn't have to be much. So what we're going to do with our neck, we're just going to do a little bit of a stretch to the side. So just take your head, your left ear to your left shoulder, and give it a stretch and hold it there and rest it there. And then coming back up to neutral, and then take your neck across the other side and just giving that right ear towards the right shoulder, a bit of a stretch to that way. And let's go back to the same, the opposite side, rather the left hand side, and just stretch that neck down a little bit like that. And then just look down towards that shoulder blade, just another different stretch for the neck. Down that way. Even take your arm out a little bit to the side, and it's stretching right to the root of the occipital bone, the skull bone. Hand back on the knee, back up to upright. Now straight towards, looking towards me to start with, and then just tilt your chin towards your shoulder, and you're getting a whole new stretch down the side of your neck. And then you just take your hand out and reach for the floor, and that's giving a really lovely long line from your bone, the occipital bone, the skull bone, all the way to the fingertips. and relax off, hand back onto the knee and just coming back around. Just come on, let's do a little half look to that way, half look over to that side, another half over there. And this time just hold your neck and see if you can just go just around gently. Doesn't have to be right back behind your head. Just up and over, equal to your body. And up and over again. Now go to that side, look at that left hand side wall, coming back up and rolling your eyes over to that way. 1, 2 and 3, and stopping at your chest, and you're just holding your neck there. But what you do now, you sort of make sure that we've got that posture. Keep checking your posture, lifting that head up and that spine up, not so much the head, but you're looking down and you're looking at your chest, so you're stretching those eyes again, like we spoke of in the last lesson for glaucoma. If you keep exercising your eyes to look right to the side or right up high and into your forehead or over to the other side or down to your chest, and then you roll your eyes around 3 times one way, and then you do the same, looking up really high into your forehead to look really, stretch your eyes to the left, stretch your eyes to your chest, stretch your eyes to your right, and then go 3 times that way with your eyes. You will actually not get glaucoma. True, because that muscle behind that eye will get so toned that no fluid will ever be able to pool there, and you won't have any glaucoma issues. Even if you've got a history of glaucoma, keep that muscle behind that eye really, really firm, and no space can get there, no fluid can pool there because there's no space. So, popping out our cushion and coming up onto all fours. Now, if you have sore knees and they're really annoying you with all this knee work that we might be doing, grab a blanket and just fold it over, and then that gives you that extra bit of spongy material underneath your knees. If that's too hard for you to do, you can always put a pillow underneath there or 2 pillows underneath there, and that brings you a little bit off that having those knees so tight. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, if this is you, that's okay, coming onto all fours, but I want you to actually put your hands as far as you can towards the front of the mat, straight hands, and then push back and have your bottom up in the air, and see if you can get your forehead down onto this mat here. It's like a puppy dog's pose, isn't it? And I think you'll find that's what it's called. It's not the technical term, don't ask me that. I can't remember that one. So yeah, so we like this. Shoulders, if the shoulders are really quite open at the front and pulling, just bring your head up a little bit. Sometimes you can, you might be able to reach for another blanket or something and put something underneath your forehead. I've got nothing handy. So just keep your head up like that if you can't put your head down. But we've loosened up your neck, so it should be okay. So what we're going to do now, we're going to work, we've done a little bit of stretching in our shoulders. So now we're going to be like a gecko and have our hands really spread here on to the mat, and we want to switch those arms on, and we want to start pushing back those shoulder blades back into place into our backs, down towards our waist. And we're going to start tucking our toes under, and we're going to come up and we're going to hover like we did yesterday for the beginning of the downward dog. So 1, 2, 3 and hover. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 and coming down. Sitting back onto your child's pose. So again, big toes together if you've forgotten. Knees out to the edges of your mat. And so nice and broad, so that when your tummy actually comes between your legs and you hang there, and this is child's pose, and it's to relax and rest. That's the whole thing with yoga, you switch a few muscles on, then you give it a really good rest, and that's the key. It really does make them become stronger more quickly. So relaxing into this child's pose, coming to this position if you need to at any time. And come back up. I'm just going to grab a little drink of my herbal tea here. That's lovely. So then we've got to get back into position again. And so what we've got to do again, switch those arms on, really pushing the floor away, as if we're pushing the floor away. Now with this tummy, we need to do the tight pair of jeans with the coat hanger hooked in the hole of the zip up towards our belly button. The two zippers from our hip across to meet that, so we have that T-bar switched on. So getting ready to be like a plank, like a board. So feet are flat for the moment, getting into that position there, keeping really strong, tailbone towards the wall. Just let's do a few little circles one way with our hips, and stop in the middle, and then a few circles the other way like we did with our neck. We're doing it with our hips, and you're sort of oiling up your joints, you're waking them up. So feet are under here like that, but we're going to turn our feet under, remember, like we did yesterday. So toes under, come back, walk back, and just give them a bit of a stretch, just so that they're getting ready for us to peel up into downward dog. So a nice little stretch through those feet there. You know, you can even sort of get your hands and really spread your toes, because that's what they teach you to in yoga, to spread your toes like you do your hands. The more area that's touching the mat, the better for grounding and for poses and postures. So nice breath in, nice breath out. My shoulders are forward. I'm just going to really start to try and bring those back, because that's everybody in our society have got round shoulders, unfortunately. So coming back and down with those shoulders, and I'm getting a bit sore on my toes, so let's go forward. I'm sure you are too. Okay, hands switched on, toes are under. We're going to come up further than the hover this time. We're going to come up to downward dog. So those arms, if you want to, you can always put them a little tiny bit further out, or a little bit tiny further pointed out towards the side if you've got weak arms. So instead of being straight ahead, which is the correct position, when you're learning, you can go out with your hands just a tad, but really it's a good rule of thumb to try and start with your middle finger directly straight ahead and your other fingers really splayed out, and you're pushing down with that whole palm. Ready to come up after 3, 1, 2, 3. Peeling up, pushing your arms really strong like an arrow, and letting your tummy come onto your thighs. And you're staying here 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, and we're coming back down onto our knees. Now flattening those feet back, but bringing your hands back and giving your wrists a bit of a stretch here. So allowing those palms, the backs of your hands, to be on the floor next to your knees, and you're pulling back a little bit and lifting your chest up. And that's a good stretch down those arms, and you can just let go of that. Give your wrists a couple of lubricating circles, stretching your hand back that way, the other side that way, and that way. Shake, shake, and back into position. Okay, we're going all the way up this time, and we're going to try and do some work with our legs. So again, into position, pushing back that floor through our shoulder blades, really splayed hands, legs, toes are tucking under, getting ready with that core, switching that belt on, coming really straight through the body like a plank, and lifting up and coming up to our downward dog. And this time with our hands and arms really strong like an arrow through to the back, and literally with our legs starting to concentrate on the outside of our heel and directing it as if it's going towards the corner of our mat at the back there, and the right side of our heel is stretching towards the right corner of our mat, and tucking ourselves and pushing ourselves back, and then bending those knees and coming back down again. Sitting into child's pose, the knees out to the corners of the mat, head down, and having a rest here. And breathing and letting go. And really being thankful that you've done some work today. And it's building up, and we're building this towards a wonderful couple of poses that we might start to do tomorrow. So besides the downward dog, we might do the warrior poses, just a couple of those ones, just to keep you interested and get you motivated. And we're going to do that tomorrow. So now I want you to just, with those legs, again, getting those toes underneath there and stretching and sitting on them there like that. Bringing an arm across and giving those shoulders a bit of a stretch that way. And just holding, breathing into that across your top of your bust. And letting that one go. Bringing this one out in front and bringing it across and stretching it. And if it's getting too much on those toes, just take them out and just sit down on them. And if you can't, you can, if your knees are bad, you have that blanket and you have it underneath you, your knees there, and you sit up like this for a moment. And then we're just going to let go, and then coming back down, I want you to lie back into your position, ready for another sound therapy. So hands are coming down to the sides, feet are hip width apart. This is the corpse pose, straightening that head and really letting everything just soften and relax, and closing down those eyes. And loving to be in the moment and be thankful for your body and how it can move you and how it does feel. It might make you feel puffed, it might stretch you a little bit, but it's all pushing the boundaries, which in our lives we need to do often as we have discipline. When we have school, where we're given discipline, we get used to a situation, we can handle outside situations better then. It's the same with yoga. If you can handle a bit of discipline on yourself when you're doing the poses, you will come out in life better as well. So think of it as not just poses that you're doing, you're actually doing exercises of your mind and your character. You're building character all the time. So first of all, we'll go back and we'll listen to our base chakra, and we'll work up from our feet this time. That energy. You've been connecting to Mother Earth on the getting up onto your feet now, more and more, stronger. Being a warrior tomorrow. time to get up, lying there if you wish. Namaste, everyone.